I can tell a lot of stories about the last 6 months, and I'm looking forward for the day where I can rest for a few days and just process everything. But I'll tell you about this past Thursday, which was an emotional roller coaster for me. On Thursday, there was an unauthorized protest, a pro-Hamas protest at Columbia. And I woke up in the morning and I said, we cannot let this happen. So I posted online, like, here is the phone number of public safety. Please let the university know. The university knows that this is happening. Let's stop this. And the Jewish community, and maybe some of you in the room, and many people in Makkah, Mothers Against Campus Antisemitism, and Jew hatred as well, they stood up for the task. And public safety's phones at Columbia, the phones were ringing off the hook. And I was optimistic. At some point, public safety actually disconnected their phone because too many Jews were calling them to make sure that they're taking care of the Jewish community. And I felt so optimistic, like we're coming there, this is it. So I decided I haven't been on a campus protest since October 12th. And I decided now's the time. I'm going to go and I'm going to stand up. And I want to see this, being shut down. And I show up, and not only is it not shut down, but it's actually being allowed to happen. The senior vice president of the university, who's the second person other than the president, the highest official, is standing there looking at the unauthorized protest. And I ask him, and I have a recording of this, and I ask him, what are you going to do? This is unauthorized. And he tells me, we'll wait and see. I said, what are you waiting and see? Like, what he means is, we'll wait to see if some Jew gets punched in the face. Mm-hmm. That's what he means. Because they're already breaking the rules. There's nothing to wait and see. And I was shocked. So I went and I came back with a Jewish student who had some questions for the senior vice president about Jewish safety on campus. And I'm recording this. You can see this on my social media. And the student asked him, this is an unauthorized protest by a suspended group. What are you doing? And the senior vice president just walks away. The second highest in command at Columbia. So I go from complete optimism to abject pessimism. But then something happened. They finished their protest, and we're standing there, maybe 10, 12 11 Jewish students and myself. And some had Israeli flags, we're singing Hatikva, and at some point the entire protest turns around and faces us. And they're setting up a line, and they're all holding their banners, and it's clear that they're coming for us. And it's a showdown. In that moment I told all the Jewish students, we do not engage, we do not provoke, but we do not move even 1 inch. If they want to come here, they'll have to walk around us. And I've got to tell you, that's one of the scariest things I've done in the past 6 months, and I've done a few scary things. But they walked around us, and we were surrounded by kafiyas, and we were surrounded by chants to remove all Zionists from campus. And we were surrounded by all that, but we stood there, because it's also our campus. Now, I can't tell you that gave me a lot of optimism, but I went from being very optimistic to very pessimistic to just, okay, this is reality. And we have to change this reality. So that's my reality since October 7th. And this just happened on Thursday, but I have a million stories like this.
By the way, if you're not on Twitter/X, get on Twitter/X and follow Shai, because everything that he's talking about, he posts. And make sure that you're following him, because the point here is to amplify not only his voice, but your own voices as well. Because what Shai is talking about at Columbia is not only happening at Columbia, it's happening at college campuses across the country. And it's important for all of us, and to the high school students who are here in the room with us, this is important for your engagement as well, and to get the facts. And you're going to have facts, and you're going to have tools, and that's part of why Abe is here as well. So Abe, maybe
I want to say something about social media. Twitter, X, is the most horrible place in the world.
We're on it anyway.
Yes, everyone who says, oh, we should have absolute free speech, spend 10 minutes on Twitter and see what happens. That's where you have absolute free speech. But it's also important. That's how we fight. But I also, when I got it became too problematic for me, I actually also joined Instagram, where I don't fight. My presence at Instagram is only about amplifying Jewish pride and that's how we win this. We take these universities to task, we fight them, but at the same time we amplify strength and Jewish pride, and so I've separated the two because I want a place where I can only go and love other people and be loved. I need that too. But then I go to Twitter to like throw a few punches and get many punches thrown at me.
Abe, maybe you can tell us a little bit about what campus has been for you as a student.
Yeah. So I will say, keyword relatively. We have been relatively lucky at Yale, where I'm a junior. While we've had a lot of problematic views articulated, hatred spewed, we have not had assaults and other problems of that severe nature in the way that other campuses have. However, I can share some really horrible stories from members of the AJC Campus Global Board and friends. I had a friend at UC Berkeley who was organizing an event with an IDF veteran. That event was physically attacked. Students were physically attacked by students and faculty, not faculty, but students and members of the university community, and the university did very little. Just this past week, a friend of mine at Emory was walking into Chabad, and one of her friends was assaulted by a protester on the street. So these are real problems manifesting themselves, not only in speech, but physically. Speaking more broadly, it's a dirty word to be a Zionist on campus. People are, even at Yale, are a relatively better environment. They're Googling people to see if they're Zionists. People are distinguishing between good and bad Jews. And it's really a problem. To be Jewish, to be Zionist is seen as to be evil. And I think that it's very hard to know how we fix that, but I think one of the ways we start is by trying to rebuild civil discourse, even if the partners are not there. One thing we've done on my campus that's been highly successful is we've set up a Let's Talk About Israel table in the middle of campus, where we just go out and sit there 3 times a week, and people come up to us and say some pretty bad stuff, but we also have a lot of really meaningful conversations. And I think we have to model that, as Shai said, when there's so much hatred, when everyone's screaming at each other, we have to be out there as proud Jews promoting civil discourse and showing that we are going to be here proudly standing up for what we believe in, no matter what others may say or do.
I want to pick up on that because I think that's such an incredibly important point, Abe. First of all, this should not just be for the Jewish community. Anti-Semitism, standing up for Israel is not just a Jewish issue. It is for all of society. Just as standing up against any hatred is an all of society issue. So we need to make sure that we are reaching out to our allies, to our friends, and making sure that they are standing together with us, just as we stand together with them on any incidents of hatred. And that's one of the things that our Global Advisory Board does at AJC, and that we do in everything we do at AJC, again, because we are working to make this world a better place for everybody. But we need to sometimes remind our friends that we are there for them and that they need to be there for us. And also to take back, as you said, the word Zionism. Zionism is ensuring that the Jewish people have a right to self-determination just like any other people. And we should hold that proudly and in our hearts and stand up for it. Nothing more than that. So, Shai, and let me actually add one more thing.